The most beautiful and mystical experiences in life are always found on the road.
Traveling is a way to feed yourself with experiences. Every place has its own characteristic. But when you travel, it's not only you travel from one place to the other. And I have to be humble and put myself into their culture.
The moment you hit the road, something changes.
What is nice when you teach yourself. When I see something, I take the good thing out of everything. You are influenced of everything you see. But I think that to answer your question about what impresses you more when you travel, I must admit the most powerful input that you receive is from the nature.
An architect embarks on a journey to a place where nature becomes architecture, and architecture becomes part of nature.
Art and architecture is actually something that try to reproduce the nature. If you want to build in respect of nature, nature is the element that gives you, so nature gives you everything actually.
Jeju Island, located on the southernmost tip of South Korea, is a volcanic island and a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site. Formed 2 million years ago by volcanic eruptions, this beautiful island is blanketed in yellow rapeseed blossoms every spring.
I'm Davide Macullo. I live in Lugano, in the southern part of Switzerland. I'm an architect.
Davide Macullo, selected as one of the world's top 15 architects, believes that human architecture is part of Mother Nature. His buildings stand not only for the current generation, but for the next, because architecture has longer lifespans than humans. Architecture that is designed with the environment in mind pursues harmony with nature rather than just external beauty.
This is the first reaction, and this is the first influence of nature to a building. As architect or artist, doesn't matter. I think for any other fields it's the same thing. Nature is what we are willing to reproduce. Art and architecture is actually something that try to reproduce the nature.
In fact, it's not Davide's first time in Jeju. When he first visited the island 25 years ago, he was blown away by its awe-inspiring scenery and local culture that pursues harmony with nature. It profoundly changed his life as an architect.
The first time I came to Jeju was about 25 years ago. It deeply influenced my life. I felt here as I was at home, with the sensibility of the Korean culture. Every tree in Jeju looks like a monument. It's wonderful.
Davide has been visiting the island every year since his first trip. What makes him come back again and again?
This is very nice. amazing about the experience, what is strong about the experience of Jeju Island that gives so many inputs in your intimate world that you can use for whatever you do. Wants to understand the power and striking beauty of this imposing nature. Being here in this spot gives a lot of energy, and this is actually the energy we learn from nature, so that's why it's important to travel.
The topography of this volcanic island makes for an unforgettable travel experience. One of its unique features is the Olle trails, stretching along the island's most scenic spots.
I was walking many times in Olle, through Olle, and every time it was a great experience. Every time, beautiful landscape, beautiful people on the way. Walk in the forest, you walk on the ocean, you walk in the fields. It's just like you feel rejuvenating, a vein that connects all the most beautiful places of the island. It's like capillary blood flowing all around the island.
A special travel maid joins Davide on Olle Route 6 that weaves through the ecosystem of Seogwipo City. She is none other than the creator of Olle Trails, Seo Myung-suk. Miss Seo was a journalist of more than 20 years when she decided to establish Olle Trails.
산티아고 길을 800km를 36일 동안 걸으면서 내 고향의 어린 시절이 기억의 지층을 뚫고 막 생각이 솟아서 생각이 나면서 나는 왜 우리 제주도는 왜 이런 길을 안 만들었을까? 바다도 있고 숲도 있고 오름도 있고 그런데 왜 자동차로만 여행을 했던 걸까? 이러면서 거기서 결심을 한 거죠. 고향에 돌아와서 길을 내기로.
The first Olle Trail was created in Seongsan-up in 2007. Now, there are 26 routes, spanning a total distance of 425 kilometers. In Jeju dialect, the word Olle means a narrow path connecting the street to one's doorway. They are intimate spaces that connect the whole community. Olle trails reveal the magnificent natural scenery created by volcanoes and offer a close look at the lives of the local people. They are a precious gift of this truly unique island.
I was so amazed the first time I came here a long time ago when I met you to see the success of this wonderful story.
Thank you. 고마워요. 사실은 또 스위스처럼 아주 오래된 올레를 이미 갖고 있었던 것을 제가 뭐 완전히 새로 만들거나 새로 완전히 개발한 것은 아니고 이미 존재하고 있었던 걸 살려낸 거죠. 다시 잇고 끊어진 길을 잇고 사라진 길을 불러내고 청 없으면 손으로 만들어가면서 제주의 자연을 제대로 보여주는. How about Olle Trail again?
What is nice about walking in Olle, in Jeju, I think it reminds me as well to my country in Switzerland, where you can, all the paths in the mountain, here you go through ocean, forest and fields. It's a really beautiful idea and in harmony with nature. And this is what nature gives to us.
스위스 플렉스라는 엄청난 자연의 그 컨텐츠가 강한 데서 성장한 사람이라서 그런지 굉장히 자연에 대한 감수성이 굉장히 높아요. 되게 자연을 사랑하는 사람이고 자연에 반응할 줄 아는 분이다 하는 생각을 했어요.
Beautiful plum blossoms herald the arrival of spring. The road is where you can best witness the seasonal changes on the island. Olle trails connect the most scenic spots of Jeju. Just by walking, you become part of this mysterious world.
Black stone, yeah, volcano. A volcano make the black stone.
I love it so much. It's so beautiful. It's like putting stones like the walls of Jeju. It's a kind of symbiosis between the natural work and the human work.
한쪽 귀로는 바다의 교향악을 듣고 한쪽 귀로는 새들의 음악을 듣고.
새소리 좋아요.
인생을 살다 보면 거만해질 때가 있는데 교훈을 주는 길이에요. 항상 낮춰서 겸손하게 해야지만 지나갈 수 있는 길.
A slow stroll on a path made by nature is a lesson that humans are nothing more than part of Mother Nature. On the road, people come to coexist with nature.
Here in Jeju, I was led to rediscover the roots of the tree of my childhood garden since my first trip in Korea. And this culture sounds to me where nature holds this powerful force with respect of the people towards nature, respecting and using nature in its beauty. Jeju reminds me that when I design buildings, they should be an extension of the senses of the people who inhabit them. A building like the island of Jeju.
Saryoni Forest, located to the east of Halasan Mountain, goes straight to the heart of a pristine natural world.
Jeju gives you the feeling like a striking experience that relates you so strongly to nature. I feel like being in harmony with nature. This is something special about this island. So it's a place to heal, it's a place to meditate, it's a place to stay quiet and to get the best feelings in life.
Taking a stroll in this forest, located 500 to 600 meters above sea level, you become part of the surrounding environment. This is where Davide receives inspiration as an architect.
Nature is the most inspiring element for any creative job. We learn from nature, architecture like nature, like a tree. A building is like a tree. From afar is a shape. When you approach, you wonder of how many things, how many details you can see, how much it is inside of a tree. And this should be the building. We are designing, representing nature, not only in a formal way. So Jeju helps you to discover all these elements.
Trees, rooted to one place for centuries, choose the most ideal environment as their habitat, just as architects choose the right spot for their houses.
A good space to live within. It's a space that has been designed with balance. It's a space that you design for human. Because we want to build, at the end, spaces to give joy to the people, and more than joy, we think that life through architecture can become like a fairy tale. We want to build a fairy tale to improve your quality of life, and so the building itself can be a part of your natural daily life. Not with an ideology, not for making something beautiful, but you design a space to make people comfortable, to make people realize more about themselves.
This white structure, overlooking the ocean beneath a cliff, is Wall Art Museum, which opened in 2013. Its unusual design makes you wonder about the owner.
Nice to meet you.
This museum was built by Davide Macullo at the request of artist Ep.11. Artist E has lived on the island for more than 20 years. He portrays Jeju's natural scenery and daily life in a humorous and heartwarming way.
제주도는 사계절 꽃이 많기 때문에 꽃을 주제로 그리는데 꽃을 확대해서 그래. 꽃이 우리에게 전하는 게 메시지가 행복이거든요. 그런 것이 나의 주제가 되는 거죠.
Artist Lee Jong likes to draw flowers and the natural environment of Jeju. His works represent his ardent desire for peace. The museum was modeled after Joseon-era white porcelain. It represents the artist's admiration for porcelain teacups that highlight the delicate color of tea.
도자기라는 게 이렇게 위는 넓고 밑에 좁잖아요. 그게 너무 아름다운 거예요. 최대한으로 이제 원형을 살려서 그래서 이제 만들려고 한 거죠. 그래서 그거를 보고 이 형태를 뭐 까다롭게 찾지 말고 이 형태를 찾아서 해보자 해서 이제 스터디를 한 2년 반 동안 이제 설계를 한 거예요.
And this was a pleasure for me, not really to design a building, but to allow the artist to design his own world about the beauty of the island, of the softness, the color, and the sweet life of Jeju. So he expressed the wish to have a volume like a vase, like a pottery.
When designing this structure, Davide strived to reflect the artist's passion, as well as Jeju's natural scenery, just like Joseon-era porcelain that holds something significant. Natural light and wind enter the museum through the windows in the ceiling.
이건 이제 하늘에서 떨어지는 건 빛이 다 들어와요 이렇게. 그래서 그림이 이 라이트가 없어도 그림을 감상할 수 있도록 그렇게 설계가 참 그게 좋았어요. 다양한 그 응용력도 생기고 그래서 그 작품 하기가 아주 편안해요. 네.
The building is like your sculpture to bring in the life of your work. And for this I was very thankful to have the experience that the architect was not doing something by himself, but helping the artist to create his own world of dreams.
The highlight of the Wall Art Museum is found on the 3rd floor.
Yeah, the line is beautiful.
It's a rooftop garden. The rooftop garden offers a panoramic view of the Southern Sea, dotted with islets. This teacup-shaped museum holds water, wind, and art all at once. It's the result of a collaboration between two men who are in love with Jeju-do Island.
불편한 거 하나도 없고 좋아요. 아주 상당히 좋아요. 작업실이라는 게 어떤 불만이 없어야지 작업이 되는 거니까 그러니까 영감을 많이 얻어요. 이렇게 그 공간에서 생각나는 거는 장소에 따라서 하늘과 땅 차이거든요.
He says that he's inspired by Davide's building. He hopes that it will be like a gift that can be enjoyed by everyone on Jeju-do Island.
So there are so many elements that works together to give a beautiful building. You don't have to build a building to show that the building is nice. You just have to do a building, to design it, to make people comfortable and allow them a building that becomes part of the life of the artist, where to grow his own production. And as he said, since he's here, he can work better. So I'm happy that
This place used to be a vast ocean before volcanic eruptions 1.8 million years ago gave rise to an island. Gradually, signs of life appeared in a terrain covered with black rocks, creating a landscape unlike any other. Here, untouched by humans in the past, is a place that holds ancient mysteries of life. Gotjawal is a primeval forest with an unusual environment. Plants growing here took root between rocks, which are in fact hardened volcanic lava.
곶은 이렇게 수불루미하고 이제 자왈은 가시름 푸르름이에요. 그래서 가시로 덮여 있는 습을 제주도 사람들이 곶자왈이라고 하는데, 이 곶자왈의 이제 특징 중에 하나가 용암이 이렇게 흘렀는데 그 식어가는 과정에서 이렇게 깨져가지고 그 위에서 나무들이 이렇게 자라다 보니까 아주 특이한 나무들도 있고요. 북방 한계식물, 남방 한계식물이 함께 공존한다고 해서 이 곶자왈은 아주 특이한 기후를 가지고 있는 것이 이곳이기도 합니다.
when I'm traveling, I'm interested in understanding what I was saying about the fact that every place has its own characteristic. So your experience living in extraordinary space like this, or like a good building, a good space, it makes you feel that your life, your moments in your life are stretched, are longer. And this is the way that we intend architecture, to give balance and to give the feeling of pleasure, of joy, not only the power of nature that comes from the volcano and all this, but the smoothness of the colors of the nature.
여기는 이제 다양한 식물들이 사는데, 향기 한번 맡아보세요.
Okay.
얘는 곶자월에만 자라는 제주 백서향이라고 하는데, 향이 천리 간다고 해서 천리향이라는 별명을 가지고 있어요.
Jeju is known as a treasure trove of rare plant and animal species. What other secrets does it keep?
이제 곶자월에 이 용암들이 한 번에 이렇게 팍 터지는 거 아니고 맨날 며칠날 계속 이렇게 쌓였던 그런 부분이에요. 비가 내리면 이 숲으로 쑥쑥쑥 들어가죠. 저 땅속으로 스며드는 거고, 또 땅속에도 이렇게 막 공기가 나오는 거예요. 여기서 막 공기가 나오니까. 여름에 여기 온도재 보면요, 그 무더운 여름에도요 15도. 그래서 여기하고 저 위하고 온도가 막 15도 차이 나다 보니까 아주 다양한 식물이 살아가는 것이 아주 곶자월의 특징이에요.
The mysterious forest, full of life, inspires Davide to re-examine the meaning of a good architect.
To be an architect is actually not a job. It's a way of life that accompanies you every day by being curious and thinking all the time how you can build a better place for people to live. The ideas, so you need to feed yourself with the curiosity of the world.
Davide takes out his sketchbook and begins to draw. He does this whenever an idea comes to him. It's like the first building block for his work.
Sketching is like building in mind like stars in the sky. The sketch is never describing the reality. It's just printing the feelings about something you see. But it emphasizes the matters, the elements, the details that are important to me. We designed the house with the same structure of the forest, doing a fence, so that the forest itself becomes the habitat of the human being. So nature gives you everything actually. That you can only be willing to reply to make something that can be beautiful as nature, or the closest to its beauty.
Olle Route 10 overlooks an unusual coastal landscape. It looks a dragon entering the sea, hence its name Yongmori, meaning a dragon's head. Such unusual topography exists only on the volcanic island of Jeju.
I would say that, like Jeju Island, what is nice about this island is that you have the feeling of all the creation of the world, of the earth. And by blowing through the fire, it brings us through the wind all the stones, these stones that have been in harmony with nature. And this is what nature gives to us.
Yongmori Beach was formed during a volcanic eruption 1.2 million years ago, when the hot magma flowed into the cold seawater. A powerful explosion occurred, creating layers of geological formations.
In this particular place, it's very interesting to see how the stratification of the lava of the volcano that build up the soil, actually the shape of these rocks, if I look it with my eyes, it's just like a wonder, the perfection. You just are amazed. You can look at it for hours and you never get tired of looking at it. It's the expression of the beauty that has been built during centuries and thousands of years.
A stroll along the beach reveals the island's unique strata, the mysterious works of nature. This gigantic architecture created by Mother Nature always inspires Davide.
You enjoy things that brings you the past in centuries, in the whole history of humanity, just to enjoy these shapes. This is not something you can do it in few years. I wish our architecture can be a little bit of this.
How have people transformed the architecture of nature? To find the answer, Davide hits the road again. Stone walls stretching endlessly ahead catch his eyes.
Looking at the stone walls in Jeju reminds me to the tireless work of the people of Jeju. Feel like looking at the man or the woman putting one stone on top of the other. And this is the feeling of humanity, more than from an architectural point of view. It's not about the beauty of these walls. It's about these walls expresses the life of the island.
In Jeju, there are stone walls not only around houses, but also around fields. To survive on the rocky, barren land, Jeju residents removed piles of stones and created fields. They built stone walls around their fields to shield them from the wind. These stone walls have a profound architectural meaning.
The wall is the first element of architecture. The wall, it doesn't divide only. The wall, it's something that relates two parts. So the wall, all the walls of Jeju, so it's like you have all the elements. So you have a layer of elements that here in Jeju, again, what is interesting for me to discover is that
A study suggests that the total length of all stone walls on Jeju Island is around 22,000 kilometers, which is half the circumference of Earth. How do Jeju residents make a living behind these stone walls? Jeju Folk Village has preserved the 19th century cultural heritage of the island. It is home to more than 100 traditional houses.
you have layers of construction that brings you to a protected area. The same stone, the same material goes down, goes up, build up the shelter for yourself, for living within, and it creates what the man needs. This is quite interesting what we see here, because it's like a very ancestral way of living. And to understand the elements of the traditional architecture helps us to build up a contemporary architecture that it's rooted in one place.
Today, an old friend of Davide's joins him. He is Korean architect Han-man Wang, who co-designed the Wall Art Museum.
다비데하고는 1990년도에 스위스에서 일하면서 그러면서 알게 돼서 지금 뭐 30년 넘게 이렇게 친하게 지내고 있는 그런 친구입니다. 한국에서 몇 개의 프로젝트를 같이 하게 됐고요. 거기 있을 때부터도 뭐 같은 일들을 많이 했었는데 서로 이제 공통되는 부분이 많이 있다 보니까 아주 즐겁게 일할 수 있는 그런 파트너였다고 생각됩니다.
The two highly recognized architects decide to go see the traditional houses of Jeju. When they arrive, they find the entire village working on replacing thatched roofs.
As you know, in Jeju there are a lot of winds, very strong winds. So they have a house is very low and with this kind of protection.
Amazing, huh?
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. You change every year the roof.
제주가요 이렇게 고온 다습해요. 비가 많고 습하고 덥고 이러다 보니까는 육지는 이 지붕에 있는 게 볏집인데 이게 지금 항모 이렇게도 얘기를 하는데 가볍고 방수도 좋고 그래서 1년에 한 번씩 교체를 해주는 거예요. 제주는 위에도 그냥 이렇게 퍼뜨려서 줄을 매게 돼가 있어요. 그래서 보시면 우리 제주도 오름 있죠. 오름 모양의 지붕 형태예요.
The strong winds have greatly affected the daily lives of the islanders. This is also the reason the thatched roofs are placed in a slanting manner. Replacing thatched roofs is a complex process. Made of weasel hair, they are placed like a net and fixed to bamboo poles attached underneath the eaves.
제주는 지붕 하나만 봐도 바람이 얼마나 많다는 걸 알 수가 있어요. 지금 바둑판처럼 이렇게 촘촘히 묶어놔도 태풍이 오면 이 지붕이 불려요. 그래서 나중에 이렇게 지붕을 일고 나면 여기 밑에 대나무를 또 꼽아요. 꼽으면 더 단단하게 해주는 역할을 해주고요.
The traditional houses were designed to withstand gusty winds. Their thatched roofs represent the wisdom of the island people, who found a way to survive in harmony with nature.
I like to visit a traditional house. Architecture is concerned with the land and its site and its history. When we visit this kind of architecture, we can feel really what we must do in modern days.
Houses resemble the people living in them. Davide and his travel mate want to learn more about the lives of Jeju residents.
So this is beautiful, no? The fire and the garden outside shows a very simple life. Huh?
Can you imagine the life of the period?
Of course, yes. This was not much different than in every part of the world. Huh? This simplicity.
This is the kitchen.
Actually, poor life, but with a lot of dignity. Even the size of the courtyard. It's quite large, actually.
It's a small window, but we can see a very nice paysage.
Jeju's traditional houses are built of natural materials from the island, such as basalt and weasel hair. They are truly part of nature and works of nature. Each part of the house was designed according to its functions to maximize convenience.
You have the architecture, it's very simple, and here you start to have the complexity of the courtyard, backyard, the mid space, the kitchen, the storage, the sleeping rooms. Everything is like kind of perfect. Done for a reason, done for the need of the everyday life. Yeah.
I think we have great lessons from this kind of traditional architecture always, because they have continued during a long time, and their life is incorporated inside.
Yeah, it's like what we always say for our design and work is that we have to take the DNA of a place and link it to the future.
Yes.
So that if you don't learn from the past, you cannot build up your future.
The nature-friendly and practical thatched roof houses of Jeju present Davide with a task.
It is a very advanced archetype of the house that are designed, planned and built just as it has to be, just as a rational way of following the daily life of the people. And this is simply what I captured in the sketch. That architecture starts from the very simple elementary element.
One of the charms of traveling in Jeju is the opportunity to see the works of world-renowned architects. With more and more famous architects producing their works here, diverse structures have become the island's landmarks. The beautiful Jeju-do Island has emerged as an experimental ground for modern architecture. Sopchikoji, located on Olle Route 2, is home to a very special structure.
You know, in Jeju, in these days, there's a lot of development in architecture too.
Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of interesting buildings, and we discovered that the respect of nature and ecology is one of the best tools to use for providing new habitat for the people.
The Yumin Art Nouveau collection, standing on the beautiful Sopchikoji Cape, overlooks some of the most scenic spots of Jeju, such as Songsan Ilchulbong Peak. Its garden is adorned with basalt rocks created during volcanic eruptions.
This is the Andos building to interpret the nature of Jeju and incorporate them in his architecture. How do you think about this paysage that he make?
Spread out like you feel you are within a wall with the lava stone of Jeju. So it's kind of interesting interpretation as making you feel the elements of the island.
Modeled after Sopchikoji, the Yumin Art Nouveau collection was designed by the highly acclaimed Japanese architect Tadao Ando. Visitors can see and feel water, wind, light, and sounds all over the gallery. A special view that reflects the brilliance of the architect.
I think this scene is one of the best scenes here. I think this is one of the best scenes in this place.
This is well done. You can spend hours just looking at the colors changing of the nature. And actually this has a particular meaning. And this is something that influences enormously my job, because it teaches you how the small nuance of the changing of colors during the day can be used in your own conception of spaces.
Jeju's stone walls and Tadao Ando's exposed concrete technique have resulted in a wall within a wall and a building within a building. The layers of gigantic basalt walls are connected to the inside of the exhibition halls. It's like entering a secret space.
Anyway, when we enter in this space, it gives a very particular sensation. Here I found this space is more likely the Temple of Egypt. It's very profound and essential. It gives a very strong sensation.
Yeah, it's actually when you have such a primary form that gives you the calm, like a meditation space. It reminds to other spaces from the Renaissance that
The 4 exhibition halls, the Gallery of Inspiration, the Masterpiece Gallery, the Peak of Art Nouveau Gallery, and the Lamp Gallery were each designed differently.
we pretend to have. You build up a culture of observing, of being curious, of looking at everything. You have to learn from everything, from the people, from the details, from the weather, the nature, the street, the pathway. Everything is important. It can be used for yourself to express better. You are influenced of everything you see. You're not influenced only about architecture, you're influenced by the nature, by social, by everything.
The beautiful island of Jeju. The masterpieces of world-renowned architects will add another perspective to the travel experience. Here's another iconic structure. It is the Podo Hotel. Podo meaning grapes in Korean. The building looks like a bunch of grapes when seen from above. The Podo Hotel was modeled after the Olle trails and the gentle slopes of the roofs of traditional houses. The inside of the building is connected to natural light and the outside scenery through its numerous windows. It's a nature-friendly space that brings indoors the weather and seasonal changes of Jeju.
그 호텔은 그 제주의 오름과 초가집을 모티브로 해서 친환경적인 호텔로 설계되어 있고요. 그리고 그 단층 건물이고 그래서 자연에 위배되지 않고 자연 속에 이렇게 품어져 있는 그런 호텔로 이렇게 되어 있습니다. 여기에서 보시면 저 창 너머로 바다 풍경이 보입니다. 거기에는 삼방산이 있고요. 그것을 중심으로 해서 호텔이 이렇게 설계가 됐습니다. 건물 밖에서 건물 안으로 최대한 자연 채광이 많이 들어오도록 이렇게 설계되어 있습니다. 그리고 여기 보면 이제 캐스케이드는 비가 오거나 안개를 꼈을 때도 그런 밖의 분위기를 그대로 자연의 느낌을 그대로 느낄 수 있는 이제 그런 곳입니다.
Designed to be connected to the outside scenery, the Podo Hotel is the work of the world-renowned architect Itami Jun. It perfectly represents his belief that architecture is a bridge that connects people and nature.
The hotel is a kind of masterpiece of his age. And when you come into this space that is open to the spots of nature, it's just a very wise way of managing the space. You come to a central space where nature come inside the space and the views towards outside are the walls made not in a parallel way to what we do, to our design, is that here you can feel that the material of the place, of the region, has been implemented in this hotel. It has been used only natural material like the wood.
These experimental structures, based on the unique scenery of Jeju, are yet another reason why its architecture is so special and remarkable. The beauty of the nature-centered Podo Hotel coincides with Davide's architectural philosophy as well.
This sensibility of balancing the space is what we are doing in our buildings, to make the people feel in spaces that are built with love and bringing nature into your own space where you live, where you grow yourself, where you can be a better person. And this island allows you to take advantage of these feelings by using the natural elements that are so strong in this island.
Davide came to Jeju because he loves its Olle trails. What does this trip mean to him?
I never take day off, so this was like a kind of big lesson for me to take the chance to just look around and get fed by beautiful things. We had the chance to have, in so short time, all the weather conditions: strong wind, rain, sunshine, sunset, sunrise, in a very short time, but very dense, intense, so that I could fit myself with a lot of emotions, a lot of places and inputs that I collected. And I was traveling totally open with my senses, very relaxed, and
Gunsan Odum, known for picturesque sunsets, will be his last stop. The awe-inspiring scenery of the volcanic island has fueled his passion for architecture.
I would say, of course, it gave me an influence. And the influence of these days would be the perfect way of starting a new project in Jeju. That you can feed yourself and use them to build your new fairy tales to deliver to the people. It's like the patient work of producing emotions that reproduce the emotions that you can receive from the nature that you experience in Jeju.